Tony Ferguson returns this Saturday night against Paddy Pimblett. Okay, the loudmouth Scouser that's returning after a year. In that year, he's had surgery on his ankle. In that last fight against Jared Gordon, people were split on who they thought won. In fact, no, they weren't. They thought Jared Gordon won. Paddy was convinced that he won and that he got fight of the night as well.
That was a close one.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't close.
Regardless, there was a little bit of backlash. There was a little bit of shit online. But Paddy's coming back. It was a close fight. He will have matured. He realised that maybe in the heat of the moment, the adrenaline was flying and he thought the fight was better than what it was. And he clearly thought that he won. So what? We've all been there. Fighters often do that. But now he goes up against Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy. And a lot of people are saying that Tony Ferguson needs to retire. And that if he loses this fight, he should definitely retire. Dana White came out recently and said he won't tell him to retire, but he would certainly advise him to if he was asked.
Yeah, I mean, I would let Tony make that decision, but I'm sure if he loses the Paddy, he would probably look at calling it. He's had a great career, done a lot of things, had a lot of big fights, and probably be a wrap for him, hopefully.
He's not going to tell him what to do. Now, Tony Ferguson has lost a lot of fights. He's lost 6 in a row. Tony Ferguson's gone from having the longest win streak in the UFC's lightweight division, the toughest division in all of the sport, to now the longest losing streak in the UFC's lightweight division, okay? That's quite a U-turn, okay? And we know what Tony's been doing. And by the way, let's just go through those losses because some of them, they were bad. They were finishes, and we all know that. There were some terrible knockouts. Michael Chandler turned him into a meme, turned him into a chicken nugget, right? But if you go through them, Justin Gaethje couldn't get the job done. Finish him, I mean. The referee had to save Tony from himself. That's how much of a warrior he is. Charles Oliveira, do Bronx, right? The most submissions, the most bonuses. The man is highlight personified. He is a finisher of the highest degree. Could not finish Tony Ferguson. Beneil Dariush, highly skilled in every area. Sure, he just had a tough loss to Arman Tsarukyan, but forget about that. If you look at the work done previously, Beneil Dariush is a bad man. He could not finish Tony Ferguson. Fights Nate Diaz. Supposed to be a 3-round fight. Last minute gets changed to a 5-round fight. Gets caught halfway through round 4 in the guillotine. Okay? He got caught. Round 5. Next one against Bobby Green. Bobby Green, back and forth fight. Had some success, but got caught in an arm triangle choke. And he certainly did a little bit of damage on the feet against Bobby. He landed some shots, okay? So when you go through those 6 losses, it's not as bad as what it sounds on paper because those people are top of the food chain.
You know, if you look at Tony's last few fights that he's fought, he looked damn good before, and every fight that he's fought in the last, 2 or 3 fights, he looked damn good right up until the end.
Okay, Bobby Green just lost, okay? And that's probably, this is not an offense to Bobby. He's not a former champion. He's not someone like Gaethje that's fighting for the belt next. He's not a Michael Chandler that's, a powerhouse of a wrestler and a striker. But he's still a very, very, very good fighter. So should Bobby Green retire? Right? All right, we've got an incredible offer going on right now, and it ends on the 19th of December. The free hoodie sale is back. Oh, yeah. You can get, right now, a free stealth hoodie with any order over $99. Normally, these cost $88. These premium hoodies are built to handle your toughest workouts with a sculpted athletic fit, moisture-wicking and odor-resistant fabric. It is one of my favorite pieces of clothing to throw on for those early morning training sessions. Barbell Apparel have sold out of these hoodies every year, so be sure to grab yours before they are gone. Join Barbell's community of athletes that make no excuses and settle for nothing less than the best. Backed by a 365-day, no questions asked guarantee, Barbell's training gear and casual wear is built to power whatever your workouts, work days, or adventures demand. But let's go through this. Number 1, you've got to respect Tony Ferguson. Do you know what it takes to go out there and continue to keep stepping foot in the octagon? When you lose a fight, when you lose 1, it's hard enough, okay? When you lose 2, doubt starts to creep in. 3, you think, should I even do this anymore? 4, 5, 6, time after time after time, he is making that walk against world-class opponents, not looking for easy prey. And he's walking out there and people are ridiculing, people are talking shit, but people still have love and affection for Tony Ferguson because of the battles. And it's the battles probably why he finds himself in this position. Tony's always had a style where he takes a lot of damage, puts on wild fights. They're incredible to watch. We know this. But that kind of style is not conducive to a long career. And Tony Ferguson is at the end of a long, glittering, legendary career. Almost 40 years old. 39. That's very old for a lightweight. You depend on speed, your reflexes, your instincts. It's not about power. Heavyweights rely on power. And power's the last thing to go. Speed, timing, reflexes, they're some of the first things to go. So certainly that is part of the reason why Tony's slowing down. The damage is part of the reason why he's slowing down. And also the quality of opponent. But Paddy's not ranked. So a lot of people think that Tony, if he loses this, should retire. Well, what happens if he beats Paddy Pimblett? Paddy Pimblett's a great fighter, okay? Make no mistake. He's faster on the feet. He's probably got better boxing if you look at it skill for skill. But Paddy carries his chin kind of high in the air. I've seen better defensive power slaps sometimes. The chin is up in the air. That means you can get hit. And if you land on the chin, then people go down. Not every time, but that's what happens. Paddy's got great jiu-jitsu, okay? Many submissions on his record, and he's kind of known for that, for the flying triangles and things like that, okay? He's got 9 submissions and 3 rear naked chokes in the UFC alone, okay? So if it hits the ground, he can handle himself. But so can Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's a black belt under the Eddie Bravo 10th Planet system. Tony Ferguson's been around the block forever. Couldn't get finished by Charles Oliveira. So I don't necessarily think that's going to be a problem on the ground. Now, granted, submissions are easy to get when someone's rocking you, when someone's driving elbows into your face, when somebody rocks you on the feet, like me against George St. Pierre when he hit me with that left hook. I was wobbled. I was dazed. I was confused. I didn't see it coming. I'm blind in one eye for crying out loud. It was impossible to see it coming, but it was a good shot, and I was kind of dazed. I was kind of out of it, and before I knew it, I'm getting choked out unconscious. So if Paddy can do that, then of course he can submit him. But if it's a good old-fashioned jiu-jitsu match on the ground, Tony can handle himself. But Tony's got the wrestling advantage. Simple as that. Tony was a high school and a college wrestler, okay? He is a better wrestler, and he's got more experience. So who wins this fight? Well, Tony's been preparing with David Goggins, as we know, and a lot of people think that's crazy. Paddy Pimblett came out and said he doesn't get it. I don't get it, mate. What's he doing, lad? Right? He said he doesn't get it. I get it. I know exactly why. He's not out there trying to get better conditioning. He's not out there trying to forge another career as a triathlete, right? No. Of course, David Goggins is known for long-distance cardio, these hell weeks, and all this kind of extreme conditioning. But he's also a master of the mind, motivation, dedication, believing in yourself, okay? And that's what Tony needs to do. Tony needs to believe in himself. But it's easy to say that he's got to truly believe in himself. You can go out there and talk to the media. You can speak to everybody. You can say, oh, I believe in myself. I'm going to win this fight. I've had a great camp. I'm in the best shape of my life. But when you lie down on that bed at night and your head touches the pillow, do you really believe in yourself? When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you really believe that you can do it? Because when you've lost 6 in a row, that's a hard thing to do. But David Goggins, having somebody like that by your side, going through training camp, spending that much time, and having someone like him that's so positive, but a guy that doesn't just read memes off the internet like a lot of dickheads do on social media, this man has lived that life. He's one of the best at being a motivator.
Stay hard.
And that's what Tony needs. And if David Goggins can find a way to tap into the mind and try and bring out the old Tony Ferguson, then Paddy better be ready. But he will be ready. He will be ready. Because guess what? Look at the pressure on Paddy Pimblett as well. 1 minute he's the belle of the ball. He's the cash cow, as he put it. He's coming out here. He's beating everybody. He got 3 naked chokes in 4 fights in the UFC, as well as a knockout. And then he has a close fight with Jared Gordon. All of a sudden, everyone trashes him. As a year away, now he's got to come back. He's got to remind everybody. He's got to go out there against Tony Ferguson. Paddy said it's even a lose-lose, right? If he wins, people will discredit it because Tony's lost so much. And if he loses, then my God. So that puts a lot of pressure on him to make sure that he puts Tony away, that he really stamps the seal of approval with the fans, that he says, look, I'm not done. That was a close fight with Jared Gordon. I didn't even lose, but look what I just did to Tony Ferguson. So make no mistake, the best version of Paddy Pimblett will be showing up. That's a fact, and this will be a tremendous fight. But I've talked enough. Who is going to win this fight? Even though I believe Tony Ferguson is the better wrestler, even though I believe he can handle himself on the feet, I think all the miles on the clock is going to take its toll. I really do. Even though the mind is going to be good because of David Goggins, the mind's all well and good, but when the body is failing, Doesn't matter how badly you want it. We can try and will things into existence, but when you've had that many fights, when you've been knocked out that many times, when you've had that many losses and you've had your spirit broken, willing it, wanting it, wishing it, working it, it doesn't matter. Sadly, I think Tony Ferguson will go out there and lose again Saturday night. And it might just be the last time we ever get to see the legendary Tony Ferguson compete. And if that's true, enjoy this. Because the sport of mixed martial arts will miss him when he's gone. These kind of characters, these legends, these people that helped build the sport of mixed martial arts into what it is today. So I appreciate him and appreciate everyone that steps foot in that octagon Saturday night, because it is not an easy thing to do.